Thank you, Joe. Now for a different type of conversation relating to private prisons. This is a conversation that society is looking at today, the importance of our social viewpoints and how they are affecting our industry. There are social implications affecting the perception of the culture. With over 11% of our population being incarcerated, at this percent, we are expected to increase over the next 20 years. Not only do we need to know where we're going to put these individuals, we also have to ask, how are we going to meet their needs? The perception of meeting their needs is different based upon individual to individual. Viewpoints are based on values, beliefs, and our demographics and our lifestyle. This defines our socioculture. So where are we headed? How is society going to deal with this dilemma? We need to look to see about embracing change and moving forward. One of the recent studies that was done was completed by Logan on the social perspective views, looking at issues relating to private prisons. 4 concern areas were quality, propriety, liability, and accountability. Quality is most important because it affects how we perceive the prison industry. Propriety ownership is an ethical issue as well. It is based on our beliefs about justice. It is crucial to understand the delegating authority and that contracting does not replace government. Managed prisons operate as an extension of government. Liability refers to our legal responsibilities of the private and government sectors relating to lawsuits. In private prison industry, the shareholders, the contracting agency, employees all shift to take part of the responsibility. Whereas in a government-ran system, the government is the only entity that can be sued. Therefore, sometimes society has negative connotations about the facility. In accountability, private companies are more accountable. They are responsible for the treatment and security of inmates. There are political pressures that surround corrections that increases the accountability. Private contracting agencies are more visible. They're also held accountable. They have state oversight and monitoring. So why is privatization a social cultural issue? Because of the overcrowding in our prisons, because of society's perception, and because society has to play a part in creating a change. So to discuss what we need to do, there seems to be a focus in prison facilities of providing more services to a larger number of inmates with less dollars. The 2 driving forces today and the concerns relating to privatizing prisons is based upon the deteriorating conditions as well as a growing trend of our dollars that we would be saving the government. To talk about a conflict of interest in this issue, privatizing prisons is quite a question for us. Are we privatizing prisoners? Or are we privatizing the prison system? This is creating a social issue for us. The politics of private prisons struggle to understand discrepancies that we have in our research. Private prisons manage offenders at all levels. They provide medical care and mental health services, and they create a change for the future. We need to have rehabilitative and supportive programs. There are limitations within the research, but there's no clear findings to oppose privatizations. Society has a social responsibility to address these issues with our correctional, policymakers, researchers, and at all levels for service delivery. The future projections we have is that private prisons will continue to rise. The industry must provide quality services to include our medical and mental health care of our inmates. The optimum for our future from a societal standpoint is that we would include the development of rehabilitative and support programs. Ethics and ethical treatment is a contemporary and futuristic concept, and it must be continued to be addressed in the future. Within The Great Turning by David Korten, he creates us to be challenged to improve our world, to develop an awareness within to become more humane for others, and that we must protect the civil rights of all individuals. Over the next 20 years, we should be challenged to heed to Korten's wake-up calls. We must choose the appropriate culture for prison management. The challenge is to shift from empire to earth community, as Korten indicated. So our key points and recommendations for the private prison industry over the next 20 years is that we must provide quality services to include medical and mental health services. We must implement a business code of ethics, and we must develop advocacy agencies to protect the civil rights of inmates. So to summarize, we cannot have this conversation about the future of private prisons without presenting the importance. I'll have to stop at the end. I got tickled.